Welcome to I Love This Thing So Fricking Much, a podcast about passion. My name is Sophie Katz, and today I am joined by Kristin, a cat mom. Welcome to the show, Kristin.
Thanks. It's lovely to be here.
Lovely to have you. So, here's how this works. Kristin will have 3 minutes to talk about something that she loves. This can be a person, place, thing, concept, activity, anything she wants. Our only requirement is that she loves it wholeheartedly and wants to tell us why. Are you ready, Kristin?
Ready.
All right, got my timer here. Now, what do you love so freaking much?
I absolutely love the stories of the Chinese Zodiac, also known as the Eastern Zodiac, as opposed to the Western one, which involves constellations and all that jazz. This one is in order by year, like an entire year is dedicated to the 12 animals that are on the Zodiac. They are in order: the rat, the ox, the tiger, the rabbit, the dragon, the snake, the horse, the goat, or sometimes known as the sheep, the monkey, the rooster, the dog, and the pig. Now, these are all very fun animals, and one of the longest running stories of why each one of these are in the order they are is called the Great Race, or sometimes known as the Jade Emperor's Banquet. Now, the Jade Emperor invited all the animals to come to his banquet, and whoever the first 12 animals to arrive would be part of the Chinese Zodiac. Now, as they began to race, the rat asked the strong ox if he could ride on his nose. And the ox agreed because the ox was very kind and very nice to the smaller animals. So the rat rode across on the ox's nose, but at the very end, jumped off the ox's nose to become first. The ox came in second and the tiger third. Tiger was slowed down by the river, having to swim across. The rabbit came in fourth, having, instead of swimming, jumped across rocks that led to a path across the river. Dragon came in fifth, and even though the dragon could fly, it stopped to help some locals who were very thirsty and brought them some rain. The horse would have come next, but the snake actually wrapped itself around the horse's hoof without it noticing. And when it made it close to the end, the snake leapt off and scared the horse. So the snake came before the horse, and the goat, the monkey, and the rooster all banded together to make a little raft to row across. Goat hopping off first, then monkey, then rooster. The dog would have been there earlier, but decided to play in the water instead of swimming straight across. And the pig was the final one to make it. It was just so cute. Just slowly making its way over and decided to take a nap in the middle.
Go ahead and finish your thought.
All right. Well, all these animals were finally added to the Chinese Zodiac, and that's the main story.
Well, thank you for
how they came to be.
Yeah, thank you for telling us about the Chinese Zodiac today.
No worries.
That really was I love mythology and things like that. So hearing that sort of here is why this is in the order that it is. This is really fascinating to me. How did you first get interested in the Chinese Zodiac?
Oh, well, I was introduced to it in elementary school with the Chinese New Year, and we learned about that and all the animals. And I've always been a huge fan of animals, so just finding out about this. And then later on, there's an anime called Fruits Basket, which is my favorite anime ever, and it has all to do with the Chinese Zodiac as well.
That's cool. How does the Zodiac tie into the anime?
The anime itself is about what if each one of the animals was actually a person, and how would they react to having been, it's kind of hard to explain. It's this family that's cursed with the cursed with the powers of the Zodiac, and they're reborn throughout the years over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And how they're treated is really what the anime is about. It's like how they feel about being each one of these Zodiac members and how they feel about the story of it. And there's also this girl that's involved who's not part of the family, who comes in to try and help them with the curse, and it's really beautiful. I would suggest checking it out.
It sounds really interesting. All right, so what does it mean then if you're born in the year of the rat or the year of the ox and so on? What is there certain attributes you're supposed to have?
There are. It's much like the Western one. Certain animals have certain things to it. Like, for example, I am an ox, and that tends to mean I'm strong, moral, patient, but at the same time, I can be vain, petty, and stubborn.
Ooh.
Yeah, each one of them has a good, a bad, a middle. It's mostly used for like relationships and like what's good about this and that. I wasn't really interested in that, just the animals themselves.
The animals are pretty cool. I'm pretty sure I remember from like going to Chinese restaurants, I think I'm a pig. Do you know what it's supposed to mean if you're a pig?
Let's see. Pig. Pig is caring, artistic, and tactful, but sometimes naive, pessimistic, and maybe insecure.
Huh. I'll have to think about that.
I wrote down 3 goods and 3 bads for each.
Ah. You mentioned that there were lots of different stories about the animals. Could you tell me another one?
Most of them either involve the race or the banquet. One of them is the story of Buddha. Like, Buddha invited the animals to come over to wish him goodbye before he left the mortal plane. And only 12 animals showed up. So that's one of the stories that happened. And it's very interesting because a lot of different cultures, not just the Chinese, but a lot of Eastern cultures will replace some of the animals with other animals. Like the dragon could be a naga or even an eagle in some stories, or the rabbit is a cat, or because somehow in translation, rabbit and cat sound very similar in Vietnamese. So that happened, and sometimes the pig is more of a boar, and just things like that.
I found it interesting when you were telling the story that the way that the animals were described, like some of them were really helpful and some of them were trying to hurt each other to get their way. It's just, it feels like it's telling me something about the culture behind the story.
Some of them are sneaky. Yep, it's definitely seen as a way that the culture could look at some of these animals and the characteristics they represent.
And maybe there's some sort of aspiration to that. Maybe we want to be playful like the dog or helpful like the dragon.
Yep, or kind like the sheep or intelligent like the rooster. You never know.
Is there anything that you don't like about the Chinese Zodiac? And if so, how do you handle that?
There is one thing I'm not a big fan of, is there is sometimes the story of the cat that is with the Chinese Zodiac, which is the mysterious 13th animal. Some stories say that the cat was tricked and told that the banquet was the following day.
No.
So the cat missed it entirely. Some stories even say that both the rat and the cat were riding on the ox, and the rat kicked the cat off of the ox, and the cat drowned in the river.
Oh, no.
I was like, wow, that's just horrid.
Yeah, that got dark fast.
Yeah, so I was like, wow, alrighty then. So that's something I'm not too big a fan of, is the the mysterious 13th animal, the cat, and how mean the rat is to him.
Yeah, I think if we're going to talk about the 12 animals, maybe we don't want to get into the animals who lost the race, you know?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I'm much more a fan of, like I just love the thought of the dog just playing in the river, and that's why it's so late in the Zodiac.
It's just like, oops, got distracted, was having fun.
and this playfulness is immortalized forever in this legend.
Exactly.
Kristin, thank you so much for telling us about something you love today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. This was a blast.
I'm glad. I had fun too.
Yeah.
And thank you, our listeners, for tuning in today. Don't forget to use the hashtag #LoveThisThingCast to tell us about the things you love. I Love This Thing So Fricking Much is a production of Through the Window Media. This episode was directed by Sophie A. Katz and edited by Melissa Block. You can find us at Through the Window on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or Tumblr. That is THROU, the window, at all the social media sites. Be good to yourself, be kind to each other, and you'll hear from us again soon.